Hello and welcome into the SorareAndrews podcast, brought to you by RotoWire and sponsored by Sorare. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me at Lairdinho on Sorare, joined as always by Andy Black, who you can find under Black on Sorare. Andy, today I believe was described as like the greatest day in the history of NFTs, or the most romantic day in history. It was something like that. How you feeling today?
Yeah, it was definitely exciting. I don't know that I would describe it the same way. But also I think that's a cultural thing. Like I don't know. I think that they use that word a lot differently than we do.
Which one? Romantic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess, I don't know. I'm not
Uh,
French.
So it was like the worst kept secret on the internet that Sorare was going to land the rest of La Liga's teams. It got to a point yesterday where I was just making stuff up, because it was like, oh, if it's going to be the greatest day ever, like what would that actually mean? And I was like, and then all of a sudden, like I wasn't the only one playing this game. So now people are like, look at all these, they're checking Sorare data for SO5 scores for like all the Manchester United guys and all the Chelsea guys. Who am I going to target tomorrow? And I'll be completely honest. I woke up this morning and, on the East Coast of the US, the announcement had already been made. And the announcement was like just La Liga. And like, that's kind of how I felt, which like is too bad because it's a huge deal. And I was just like, I wasn't like disappointed, but like it felt like all of those little like absurd ideas that didn't happen were the disappointment. But then I felt like as the day went on, I was kind of like, this is a big deal. Like people are very excited. And I don't know, hopefully we see a spike in users and popularity on the site.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'll be honest, I kind of felt the same way. And it was kind of amusing to me that to see all of the rumors popping up when it was fairly obvious. Like there was one thing I saw on Twitter regarding La Liga and they signing a partnership with Sorare. This is like 2 weeks ago or something, or a week and a half. I don't know. But it was long enough ago to where like everything lined up and it just like, okay, that's what this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny seeing all the smoke people were throwing up there. And I don't know that everyone was doing it intentionally. I think that people were like, maybe they're making a big deal out of this. It can't just be La Liga. And it's like, it's a Big Five league.
Big
And
deal.
yeah, it's a very big deal, especially when I'm fairly certain that they either have all of the French league or dang near all of it ready to go. I don't even know what teams we're really missing.
The ones we don't need.
Yeah, probably the ones that we don't need. But I think that we'll probably get all those at some point. But yeah, a very big deal. And then just to see like PK and all of the, I guess basically the Twitch stream this morning. Did you end up watching that?
No.
But you can go back and rewatch it.
Yes.
So over my lunch break today, I just kind of like zoomed through it, which I think like the first 20 minutes didn't have audio, which was kind of ouch. But I did go back and watch it. It was really cool to see all the analysts and everyone just kind of talking Sorare. And I saw some cool stuff on Twitter where there were either analysts or actual players were building their best five kind of on like I don't know if it was like a touch screen or something, but it was like one of those TV touch screens and they were like dragging in their best five or whatever. It was pretty cool.
How good are you at lip reading?
Oh, for the part that didn't have audio? Right. Well, since most of them, English is not their first language.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
That one's a little tough. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like the general consensus yesterday was that it was all of La Liga because everybody knew that's what it was. And I think they also expected it to be PSG with Messi. And I think some of the disappointment today is that it wasn't Messi. And what was kind of funny is I felt like the response to having an announcement that big be about PSG, like that it shouldn't be that, because they already have PSG. And it's like, well, they didn't have Messi. So they still don't have Messi yet, but like, and everyone's like, no, it has to be bigger than that. And they're like, well, it's La Liga then. And then there's like well, is La Liga bigger than Messi? Like, would you rather Messi or would you rather La Liga? And everybody's like, I would rather both. So let's just pretend that we're getting both.
Which would be absolutely ridiculous because that's two huge PR moments for Sorare. Why blow them all in one shot? Like, you're going to get this huge PR moment from La Liga, and then here in a week later, when it starts to simmer down, slow down a little bit, you drop Messi. I think that they're doing the right thing. I think they know what they're doing from that perspective.
Yeah, like I think if you're going to expect there to be a lot more popularity for the site, then you do the one that probably is going to be slightly smaller first to make sure that you can handle it. And then when I still think that there's literally not a bigger draw to get casual people at least thinking about Sorare than Messi. Like, I think maybe, obviously if they were like, we got all of the Premier League, which I think none of us really expect to be the case anytime soon. But some people are definitely trying to believe it. But Messi is the biggest thing you can do. And so, kind of lumping him in with a La Liga announcement seems silly now that we're looking back at it.
Yeah, for sure. And I saw some stuff about like, oh, maybe it'll be Man United 2 or whatever. And that would be another one. Like whenever, like if it is only one EPL team again this year, that's a marketing moment on its own. And they need to save that for, a few more weeks down the road or whatever.
Right. They don't need to. They don't need it now.
Yeah. Don't blow your whole wad all in one place.
Did you attack the auctions when they started?
No.
There were only 25,000 La Liga cards in the auction house to start.
I was super busy at work this morning, so like I checked it and I was just like, oh, cool. Like, cause I just wanted to see what the cards look like, even though like they all pretty much look the same. But I pulled up like Depay because like at some point I want to buy it, like a limited one at least. But and I did like a quick check on like, okay, when are the auctions for the Barca guys, the Real Madrid guys? Because I need to add one for the special weekly, which we'll talk about later. But I just wanted to see when those auctions were to see if there was like a time during the day that I could pop in and check some out. And I did look at the Real Madrid ones because they would be relevant this weekend. Unfortunately, Barcelona doesn't play, so I wouldn't have been able to do anything. And I wasn't really interested in rushing to buy a card that I wasn't going to use this weekend.
Right. I rushed slightly a few weeks ago. I don't want to say rushed, but I started to put together a Champion Europe D5 team when like Rennes came out and we had a few of those teams. And I'm like, maybe I'll try to win some cards now before like the big clubs come on. And almost immediately after buying a goalie and some set piece taker and a defender, like they introduced Leverkusen and then someone else came on like right after that. And it was like, I'm already going to get slaughtered with these guys, these clowns that I bought. So I sold them literally today. And it was like, did
you sell them for a loss or profit?
No,
or
small profits.
Really?
I mean, they're limited cards. So it was like truly like 0.005 or whatever it is. Like
to be able to buy a card a week ago, realize you made mistakes, and then to like cut and run and not lose money is pretty good.
They were usable cards. Like I think I could have, but they were cards that were going to cost me more money because I was going to have to buy 3 more to compete in Champion Europe. And it was kind of like, I'm going to be buying cards now and then getting slaughtered by La Liga cards or, all the new ones, when Bayern comes out and PSG and all them. And I was just like, I don't think I need to go through this. But then, that special weekly, it's like, no, you need a La Liga card. And I was like, okay. And there's no Barcelona this week. There was somebody else pretty good that is not playing. I forget who it was that I was scouting as much as you can like scout these things. Villarreal and Sevilla. Sevilla was supposed to play Barcelona anyway, but like those are like teams I think I would have gotten players from, but they're obviously not playing this week. So yeah, then it was like, all right, well, Real Madrid, I started pricing out Benzema and Vinicius and Bale. I even looked at Hazard, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm literally buying a card just to get into this special weekly. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And then you were like, what card are you buying to get in the special weekly? And I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And then somebody in the RotoWire Discord was like, so who's in the special weekly? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. And
why didn't you want to do the special weekly?
It was, I've had like so little success buying cards specifically for the weekly.
Okay, but out of all the special weeklies ever to buy a card for, this is the one.
Why?
Because
I'm not winning a trip to El Clasico. Come on.
Well, that's not the only reason.
Yes, these special limited cards.
Yeah, a couple of reasons. So you can use limited cards to win super rares and limited cards.
You're right.
Which is a big deal, I think. Like, you can use the cheapest cards in the game to buy or to win basically the best cards in the game. I'm not counting uniques because whatever. As of right now, there's only 1,200 entries, which to me, that's not that many entries when you can use limited cards.
Right.
And then, there's 200 limited prizes and 91 rare prizes.
Is it?
Why aren't you buying a card?
Is it 200 after the 90?
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, could you win 2 cards?
My guess is you can win 2 cards.
That's what I was
probably
thinking.
The top 200, and then
I mean, I did it. I bought the card.
I would go as far to say, if you don't have a team, I'd buy a whole limited team to play in this thing.
Well, I had one, but I think you were the one who told me. You were like, if you have a good lineup somewhere, like a good limited lineup, just buy one La Liga card and slap it in. Yep. And that's when I was like, damn it, he's right. Yeah. And I did it.
I mean, to be able to, there's 55 tier 3 super rare prizes. Granted, they're tier 3 super rares, not the best super rares in the world, but they're super rares.
Yeah.
55 of them. Top 55 get a super rare.
How many
people can use limiteds?
Yeah. How many people do you think put their best lineup in there?
I think a lot of people will. But it's weird. Like, I have a Noah Lang super rare. I'm not using him. I'm not, quote unquote, wasting him in that lineup.
Yeah.
But I'm putting my best possible limiteds in there. Like, I'm building a really good limited team in there. Because there's really not a good reason to waste a rare or waste a super rare in that lineup.
Oh my gosh, no.
I mean, if for some reason, I told you this earlier today. I was like, if you have a rare that you're not using, then sure, you could use it in there. But if you're not using that rare, it's probably not a very good card.
Right.
And you could just go buy a limited that's really good for not that much and compete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
Like, this is probably the best, like, prize opportunity I've seen, like, from like just the whole like return on investment standpoint, because again, you can use the cheapest cards in the game to win some of the best cards in the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't ever prioritize the special weekly. Like, if I have cards, I'll play it, but I tend not to like make my other lineups worse. But the one that I always remember was early when I was on the platform, and the top 200 won a goalkeeper, and it was like, that's a big deal, because like a lot of people needed it, and I believe you could use a common. So it was like, all right, and back then it was like, do I play All-Star D4 or the special weekly to get a goalkeeper? I'm like, no, I'm definitely playing the special weekly, and I didn't come close to getting one.
Yeah. They did some cool stuff around Christmas time. I don't know if you were on the platform yet, but they were doing threshold.
Playing.
No, they did threshold rewards in the special weekly. during Christmas,
cool.
and they doubled the threshold, so that went up to 0.04.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was like their Christmas present to the community. Like, that was pretty awesome. So
When ETH was like $800.
yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, like those are all great and everything, but this special weekly, and then like the cherry on top is like, yeah, if you do somehow, make the nut lineup and win first place, like that's a pretty sweet reward.
That is a pretty sweet reward.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, like, it's not just like 2 tickets. It's like a whole experience. They fly you out there. I imagine it's a day of activities, which some people hate, like having their day planned for them or whatever. Honestly, I love that sort of thing. Like, I always thought I hated it until my wife planned a trip to Disney World and then had everything planned out. And then I didn't have to worry about anything. It was like, oh, we're going there, and then we're going there, and then we're going there. And it was like, that was actually a lot of fun for me. So I really want to win this.
I went to the MLS All-Star game. Like, I won tickets to the MLS All-Star game once. And yeah, it was like very organized. And it was like, you have to be here from this time, and this is where you go. And it was great. Like, I loved it. I have no interest in trying to figure out what to do on my own in Barcelona.
Yeah. Is it in Barcelona or Madrid?
Oh, it's actually, to be honest, I didn't even check.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know. I'd go to either.
Yeah, sounds great to me.
Cool. Yeah,
never been to Europe, so yeah, I'm already planning the whole trip out now. So,
good. You already put in time at work. You're like, sorry.
Yeah, took the day off.
When is the game? I don't even know.
I don't know. I didn't look. Look how prepared we are. So, how many more real life like experiences do you think we'll see? And like, with it being a global game like this, how many are like realistic, do you think, for, managers like you and me that live over here in the States can partake?
What do you mean? Like, they wouldn't send you to Moscow for a Moscow Cheska Zenit game?
Well, I mean specifically for La Liga, because I think that's part of the deal is they license the entire league,
right?
And they can organize and get the league to sponsor a lot of this stuff. So I guess specifically for La Liga is where I want to, I guess, target that question.
So what is the actual question? Like, what other stuff are we winning?
Yeah. Do you think that there'll be other things, and do you think it makes sense for them to offer it? Like, if the experience is all of these are just going to be tickets to games, does it make sense? And do you think they'll be able to just like fly people in and have these whole day experiences?
Right. I would assume, yeah, they absolutely can handle that. It's like a drop in the bucket for these clubs, and particularly or the league. But I have to imagine that even stuff like, used jerseys or, boots, they always give those away. Like, there's stuff that they get in every game that I'm sure would be fun for people to try to win. Like,
like an autographed soccer ball or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just happens to be that we'll have a bunch of teams that we didn't even know were in La Liga because they're at the bottom, and maybe they won't be next year, but who doesn't want a trip to Mallorca? That sounds fun.
What is that? Is that on Earth?
I got a question for you. Would you rather see like a lower table La Liga game, like an experience to fly over there, or go to like a Bruges game?
Oof.
Because they have that league too.
Yeah. I would do both of those things in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Just go on any trip they'll send you on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've kind of mentioned this before, and I think that it would be really, really cool if they would actually make these prizes NFTs. So,
well, like, I mean, this one kind of is, right? They said like the holder of the card on whatever the date was, September 30th, will go. Like, you can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, you can absolutely sell this card that you win.
Wow. Okay. So they've done it.
Yeah, they did it.
That is amazing. So
it's very romantic.
I wonder, I'm curious of the possibilities surrounding that, and I guess that's your quote unquote ticket,
Exactly.
which it's a great idea.
Agreed. Yeah, I think. Let me see here.
Because there will be people that are either introverts or they just don't want to do this or they don't want to go or whatever, and giving them the option to just sell it, great.
Or they really do want to go, but hey, maybe $30,000 is worth it. Like how do you even value something like this?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a value, but in fact, I know that if you win stuff like this in the States, at least, you win prizes, you usually have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works with an NFT. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I read this. Maybe it was in the release. But yeah, it's it clearly said the holder of the card as of a certain date will get the experience. I was in some Discord chat today about who would buy it. If you put it up for sale, who on the platform would buy it? And it was one of those is it a card and an experience that all of the whales feel like they should have? It's the biggest prize that they've the biggest physical prize that Sorare will ever give away as of now. And we see people buying the first cards of whoever, and that's a big deal. And this should be a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want a specific person?
It doesn't have to be.
Because I would love for Jabba the Hutt to buy it. and then go to the game, and then they interview him or something, and then he doxes himself, and everybody knows who he is now.
Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen unless somebody misprices it.
Yeah. Which, man, maybe that's the way you dox him. You misprice the PK card. He accidentally buys it or purposely buys it, whatever, and then he's got to go to the game. Yeah. Brilliant strategy.
Yeah.
Bold strategy.
Costly too.
Yeah. Oh man.
So you wouldn't sell it?
I would go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not sell it unless there's a number there's always a price. If somebody offered me a sum that it certainly was not worth, then yeah, I guess I would sell it. But priority would be going, because we've had discussions about going to Europe, and just it always ends with it being too expensive. We're just not doing it.
I bet you could sell the card and then use the profits to buy tickets to El Clasico.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't meet PK, but you could probably still go to the same hotel and the same game.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe. So you're definitely winning it. So then what am I getting for finishing second?
You'll get one of the special edition cards or whatever. Yeah.
And a tier 1 super rare. My favorite thing about these special
I was going to say it's going to be difficult for me to win, because we have a player that cancels each other out.
That's true. It'll be the other 4. Thankfully, we're both. So this is most people are going to listen to this after it's already closed. So I guess we can give away our strategy. But as of now, you and I have a 4-man stack and then 1 extra La Liga card.
Yeah.
And I was actually curious how many people were going to try to buy 5 La Liga cards as if you needed them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a terrible strategy. It's an extremely low-scoring league. You don't have Barcelona, the highest-scoring team in the league anyway.
Right.
And we have games this weekend of higher-scoring leagues.
Madrid has a pretty good matchup. I think that they're at home and they play a mid-table team or something. Yeah. So I guess if you had a good Real Madrid stack, but it's also kind of an expensive stack too. I can't imagine you're getting Courtois for, I don't know, a reasonable price.
What are you getting? So I obviously have been buying limited cards more than you. So it's always funny to me when I'm like, how much do you think this is? And you're not even close.
I'm going to say a Courtois is 0.2.
0.2. No, not a single one has been The first one was 0.262, and then the
they're
next
over
highest was
0.2.
0.262
Wow.
for 1 of 1,000.
Oh, for the 1 of 1,000. And
Yeah.
where are the rest of them falling?
The next highest is 0.164.
Okay.
But the benefit of buying a Real Madrid stack for this game week is you can use it every game week.
Right.
Like, I think there are people who are buying 5 La Liga cards and will go into Champion Europe and finish dead last. Or, out of the
Yeah, I do think I agree though. Like the cool thing, you can buy the Real Madrid stack. You can play it in the special weekly, and then like going forward, you have your Champion Europe D5 team just like done, and you can just like, okay, I'm rolling that out every week and be done with it. And I was telling you earlier today, kind of off topic, but I think it was you, that I kind of want to go buy all of the goalkeepers of the international teams. So pick up Courtois and Oblak and I don't know, whoever else.
Donnarumma.
And Neuer.
Neuer, yeah.
I think it'd be fun to grab those guys because then on international breaks, like I could at least put a team out there. And like, cause like right now, like I have teams, but I don't know. I don't think I've ever won anything on an international break, like that was decent, like maybe a tier 3 or something. Cause I just don't have those like elite international players, but you can do that with the limiteds for at least kind of a reasonable price. And at least it gives you some level of engagement. So it's like, okay, I'll build an Italian stack that, I can use during all the international weeks, and seeing as they win 36 weeks in a row or whatever, it doesn't seem like a bad play.
That sounds like a good one. Yeah. How do you, as I'm looking at the Courtois auctions, how do you feel about cards being sold out of order?
Oh yeah. We did kind of talk about that. Like they sell the 6 first and people might not be paying attention and think that's the one. And then, I don't like it.
Courtois 9 of 10 has 5 hours left. And the 9 of 100, so the rare, but the 1 of 100 is 23 hours away.
Yeah, I don't like that because I think that it almost artificially makes that 9 expensive when it shouldn't be.
Right.
Because like that's where the price discovery kind of has to occur on that number 1 mint.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think Sorare just makes more money. And I don't think that they did it intentionally. I think that this was probably some kind of bug or something, but they will make more money when that happens, I think.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. Not my
problem. So how many did you buy? La Liga cards?
Just, I signed on and we were talking, and I think it was, who did we buy? Fakir?
Yeah.
So
you're giving it away, man.
Yeah, I'm giving away my strategy. But like he was up, and he was a guy that I was looking at earlier as just like a decent forward that I could plug in, because that's the La Liga limited card that I really wanted to play, because I don't own any of like the super elite guys, and like I do want Benzema, but I think the auction's at like 2 a.m. or something, so I'd have to like wake up for it. Now that's like the ultimate degeneracy right there, is waking up at 2 a.m., setting an alarm for a limited card.
But think of the story that you have when you're in Barcelona and you're like, no, I bought a Benzema card, and everybody's like, no, we hate Real Madrid. And you're like, no, but I just did it to be with you guys.
That's right. And I woke up at 3 a.m. I set an alarm. I woke my whole family up. I got the card and I won the trip. So it's worth it.
Right. They're at home. I couldn't bring them, but
right.
It was great.
Yeah.
Is it a trip for 2?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
can't be more than that, right? Yeah. All right. It's a nice trip. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So what ended up happening though is I bought the Fakir, and then I was like, oh, I've always kind of wanted to own and I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Canales,
yeah.
There you go. I've always wanted to own his card because, well, the main reason I always wanted to own his card is because he was a good midfielder in Champion Europe, but he didn't have any rares. He only had super rares, so he was kind of unattainable. because all those cards were very expensive.
Right.
But I've always kind of wanted to own them just to have them, And so I saw his card coming up and I bought that. And then I bid on another defender from Real Betis. And then I was like, what am I doing? I'm buying a bunch of Real Betis players that were already on the platform. I'm buying their limited. So
But you said you would do that. Oh, actually, no. You had previously said you were going to buy limited cards of players of cards you already owned because it was just easier.
Yeah.
You're right. These aren't cards that you previously owned. They're cards you wanted to own.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point.
Funny thing, I own both their commons.
Ooh.
Both of their commons, and now I own their limiteds.
Yeah, so you're just working your way up.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
you'll have the rares by the end of the week.
I think I've kind of changed my mind a little bit on that. Like, I still do want to own those limiteds, but I also like the idea of owning limiteds that I don't have a share of at all. So, like when I talked about the international goalkeepers, like kind of all the international players, like it would be just nice to own those guys that I don't own, because then I can root for them.
Mm-hmm.
When I normally would just totally be fading them and hoping that they have terrible weeks. Now I get to have a little bit of piece of their action.
So that happened to me today.
Oh yeah,
and I showed it to you. Yeah, so my whole thing when the limited started is like I want to buy the guys that I can't afford. I can't get rares or super rares of. And when I started buying limiteds, I started buying cards of guys I owned, and I was like, I already have these guys. What am I doing? And so I started getting limiteds of guys I don't. And today I finally got a Noah Lang, because I'm in like no position to buy a Noah Lang rare card. Certainly not a super rare, but I now have a Noah Lang limited card. And the best part about it is that he either does really well and I like get to cheer with everybody because I'm winning U23 limited cards, or he's an absolute dumpster fire and now I'm more competitive in everything else.
Well, you do have a curse associated with you. Whenever you buy a player, they either get COVID, they get hurt, or they just start to suck. So
yeah,
not happy with you right now, Laird.
It had to be done. But I am like slowly getting. So I think the weird thing about having so many limiteds on auctions is creating this thought that I need to buy one of them. I'm like, oh, there's so many, so let me go get one. And then they like tick away and I don't have one. And that specifically happened with Lang. They had like some power hour. He had like 20 cards go in an hour and I didn't get one. And I was like, man, I blew it. And yet I'm like, wait a minute. He still has 950 cards to mint. And yet I'm like, oh, I need them now. And I haven't changed my mind on that all of these people who are trying to build these super teams that, people who normally play D4, D3, D2 are now going into D5 and they're building the best teams they can because they have the budget to do it. Mm-hmm. And my only thought was, if I get these cards now, then I'll be able to train them. And if we all have the same teams and my XP is higher, I'll win. And so now that's how I've completely justified every single one of my limited purchases.
Yeah, I think you're crazy. I shouldn't say that. I do think that there is a little bit of value in, well, the funny thing is we have Jimmer in chat, and he's a big fan of training. He loves training. He trains his guys every week, and he always gives me crap whenever like I lose out of like a reward or something by like a half a point. He's like, you should have trained them. And I do train my guys, but sometimes, things happen, forget, whatever. I do a better job at it now, but I'm not as dedicated, I guess, as Jimmer is. Any rate, I don't think that we're going to have I think it's going to be a while before we have duplicate lineups, and that really becomes a problem. It'll be duplicate lineups plus duplicate captains.
Yep.
And there's such a massive variety now, like all of La Liga. So look at Champion Europe now. It's all of La Liga, a lot of France, a few EPL teams, a couple German teams. Like, I don't know. That's a big variety. That said, there will be people that are just like, I'm going to run 5 Bayern Munich players, and those are the times that you'll see the duplicates.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Like we're not going to see 5 like individual player duplicates, but yeah, it's the people who run Minero stacks in Champion America or Bayern stacks in Champion Europe. Like those are the ones, and generally, like we know who the guys you want on those. You're like pick 5 guys from this team. Well, 4 outfield players. It's like no, I know exactly which 4 I want.
Yeah,
and people will go for that. And yeah, it's absurd that like I think training will make a big deal at some point, but. Jimmer, since you're in this chat, just a quick question. If you actually put effort into, like, do you actually build training lineups or do you just click 5 guys in? Because I complain about training, and yet I actually find me like messing around with training lineups more fun than building my actual entry lineups. Because I just do stupid things like guys whose names start with A.
Yeah, or you build a team of all players that Black also owns, and then send me the
guys you've told me to buy that haven't played yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jimmer makes sure that Kai is trained, and Hongla. He's loved Hongla. Georgie has a question here. So as a D4 player, he's got about 80 cards. Am I missing out on not buying limited cards? I still see lots of people that haven't gone down the limited card route. So, I mean, that's really up to you. I did see one of my buddies bought a limited team, and I don't remember what region it was, but I think it was U23 actually, and he podiumed, I think, second place, and it dang near paid off the entire team. Like it was like the first week of D5 where it was like open to all the regions or whatever. I think he got second place, and it was like, okay, team's paid for. So I think with the low entries right now, if you can cash it, like if you can cash in early and win something, you can pay off your team pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think you said that last week, didn't I? Think it was last week.
Kind of with the snowballing of rewards, yeah.
But not even that. But like, we will never have this few entries in D5 ever again.
Yeah, every week
entries will only go up.
Yep, every week will be the lowest ever.
Right.
Going forward, I guess.
Going forward, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think the decision needs to be how much you want to deal with selling limited cards, because ultimately that's how you make money with limited cards. Like you're not progressing anywhere. You may progress out in turn, other than up, but I think the toughest thing that I mean, it's not dealt with. This isn't tough. I don't know why I started that way. But the biggest difference was if you win a tier 3 card that somebody you have never heard of and you don't have any interest in owning, and it's a rare card, you're like, maybe I can get 0.01. And I'm like, that's basically like a small threshold. Like that's how I've always looked at it. Like I'm okay selling those cards for 0.01 because I'm like, 205 points, great. But man, the numbers are much lower when it comes to limited cards. I mean, literally like 0.002, 0.003, and you're just like, is this even making a difference? And maybe
when you look at the fiat number, though, it's like, oh, sure, I'll sell this guy for $7, even like $7. I sold a guy the other day. It was like $6 or $7, and it's like, okay, that seems kind of silly when we're talking about like 1 ETH worth of cards or whatever. Like, it's a very small number, but it adds up, and then B, you can also make that choice of like, is it better to hold this card until he might be a flat out DNP guy. Like, okay, if I hold him for a month and he starts playing again, can I sell him for $20? I don't know.
Right.
And I think that's where it gets a little complicated, because like for me, I would rather just sell the card for $7, I think, and be done with it, and not have to like keep an eye on like, oh, he's playing, he's not playing, all that. But lower budget players, doubling the cost of sale there could be super important to them. And I think that there's like arbitrage opportunities on bigger players like me where it's just like, nah, I'm dumping it, and I'm gonna probably have to undercut both the primary and secondary market to sell a $6 card. So that's a good opportunity for somebody else to just like pick that thing up, wait 2 weeks, and the guy's maybe playing again. I don't know.
So the two things on that, the first is that it's funny that, because I think we talked about this previously, that limited cards for some reason make you look at fiat. Like I don't look at fiat in rare cards or super rare, but with limited cards, it's like because the ETH is so low, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting $21 out of this. Okay,
I mean, what does 0.006 mean? I have no idea. Like $20 means something. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Totally. No. So I completely agree with you on that point. And the other one is when you win rare rewards, you generally don't have to compete with auctions. Like last price is usually not an auction, but there are so many limited auctions that you're just like, oh, let me sell this card. Where has it been trading? And you're like, oh, there really aren't that many sales. How come? And then you go to the Sorare data auctions page. You're like, oh, because there are 55 auctions today of this one player. You're like, okay, this is what I have to compete with.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So last week, Zara was in chat and he talked about making Sorare more accessible to like a casual player. And you know, I spent some time thinking about that, and they kind of announced something today that I think is pushing in that direction. And that's the selling of basically stacks. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to build and I know that we had the bundles before, but the bundles were not stacks. The bundles were 5 players.
Mm-hmm.
And it might include a goalkeeper, it might be 4 defenders, it might be 4 forwards. But now they're going to sell, they call them limited starter packs, which is basically a stack. And it will have goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, forward, and an extra outfield player all in one bundle. And I asked a question to some of the guys in Discord today. Would you be willing? Yes, Jimmer, they did announce that. I asked some of the guys in Discord today, like, would you be willing to pay 10, 15, 20% premium for basically one of these stacks so that you don't have to go and pick out all the guys in auction? You just hop on, you you still have to like know when the stack is being auctioned off, but would you pay a little premium just to not have to deal with all the auctions? And I think most of the guys said no. I think my answer is yes.
I think if you're new, the answer is definitely yes. I think we're just used to the time that we spend on Sorare, and so you're like, no, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
But what's funny about that is that generally bundles you pay less. Like you get a discount. Oh, you get a bulk discount.
And then you can piecemeal them.
Yeah.
My theory on that is that when you're selling a rare bundle, a lot of times the prices of those is so high that there's just not enough liquidity to really take advantage of like the full value of that bundle. So it prices a lot of people out, and you're able to like make it like get a steal. With limiteds though, I think that the prices are going to be competitive enough to where we might not see that. You might actually see the opposite.
So my first question is, are they team specific? Did they say that? I don't remember that being part of it. I remember assuming that was the case, but now I don't know.
Yeah. So an extra outfield player, all from the same club. So they'll be team stacks. With that said, will they be like procured and like we're gonna put the 5 like an elite team together and sell it as an elite team, or is it just gonna be like all randomized?
Right. Like how many Real Madrid bundle, or what do they call the starter packs, have Courtois?
Yeah. Like, is it their backup keeper, and then Benzema, and like where it doesn't make sense? Or is it going to be like, Benzema, Hazard, I don't know.
Modric and
Courtois. I don't know. And I would actually like to see them do three things. Have some randomized ones, have some like super teams, and then have some just like meh, like kind of like more like middle of the road stuff. Because I do think it makes sense to just like sell an elite stack, like build the best possible team and sell it that way. I think people would pay a premium for that.
I like this idea. Oh yeah, bundle them by tiers. Although trusting their tiers is
Yeah. I don't think that they would be able to do that just because like it might be hard to find 5 stars on like Celta.
Oh, that's true.
Or like, some of the other teams, but they might be able to like at least say like star tier 1 are going to be together and then tier 2 and tier 3 are going to be together. That might be a way to like keep the goalies with, crummier player, or like the backup goalies with like crummier players and like the starting goalkeepers with better players.
So didn't they do something like this in the winter with MLS? Like a buddy of mine definitely bought a DC United bundle. Like it was 5 players. I know Bill Hamid was in it.
It must have been like luck or like random, because I bought a couple of Christmas bundles and they were 5 guys random, like Eloy Room and Robin Lode and guys that did not play together.
Huh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he bought a DC United bundle. But I don't know. It's not there now. But I do like the idea a lot.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you thought that would eventually lead to us being able to sell packs. Like I tried to do that today. I posted in the trade or the for sale and trade channel that I'm trying to sell 3 PSV U23 limited cards. Like Pascali, Sangare, and Gakpo together. And I just want to be able to post that somewhere other than in Discord.
Right. I think it gets a little complicated when you try to like either auction off or sell groups of cards. Like technically I think that it's a lot for them right now. So I don't see that anytime soon. Especially when it's fairly easy just to like,
not allow it.
Yeah, just not do it.
Great. But I want to do it. I want to sell my cards.
Yeah, I mean, you could reach out to the guy that buys your goalkeeper and be like, "Hey, I got the defender too. If you're looking to build a stack or whatever."
Yep. Oh well, we're not there.
I had a guy reach out to me this past week. He saw that I bid on a guy, and then like a day later, he was like, "Hey, I saw you bid on that guy. You want to buy mine?" It's like, nah, I didn't really want to. Like, he's trying to get like an extra bid out of me.
I think that's reasonable though. Like, I don't think that's a bad strategy for.
Well, that's some serious work.
Yes.
Really watching the bids and seeing who's bidding on guys, or I know kind of a strategy or tactic back in the day is if you were trying to sell a guy, watch the bids and then, find the 2 or 3 guys that missed out on them or whatever, and just like, hey guys, and then give them your price. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of those things that if you want to put that work in, the information's all there.
Mm-hmm.
At least on Sorare data, not on Sorare.
Does Sorare data have I guess it does have bid history, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So I guess you don't have to actively be watching the bids. You can just go back and find the last one that auctioned, see who was bidding on it, and then reach out.
Do you think the guy who reached out to you already owned another one and then he won that auction and he wants to sell the one he got earlier?
Oh, like he was price protecting his card or something,
and got stuck.
And got stuck with. I don't know. I didn't do any research back at him. It was a super rare though, so I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, maybe not.
But maybe not. Back in the day, I price protected a Jared Bowen that I had bought, and now I own 2 Jared Bowen super rares.
I did that with Emmanuel Reynoso a few weeks ago, 2 months ago or so, maybe a month ago.
That one
Now
actually turned out pretty good for you, though. I think
I own 2 of them. That one, it ended
I
up
feel
being,
like you bought him when he was kind of like in a rut, and since he's been pretty good.
well, I bought him before the rut. And then I was like, I got to price this guy up on an auction. So I put a bid in and I won it. And it was half of what I paid for my card. I think it was literally like a week later. And the card was worth half. And then I started playing both of them.
What's up, Surface?
Yeah, that was price protecting can get tricky.
Yeah, I try to stay out of it now because I think it was more important early on or when there were lower numbers of users, because there would be times where all of the users were not active or all the users were not on. Like if the Europeans were all asleep and there was a card up for auction or something, there might be value in price protecting. And if you get stuck with the card, you can just sell it to somebody that's awake tomorrow. But now, it's a global game and there's, I don't know, 30,000 users, or I don't know how many users there is, but there's a lot of users now. The chances of, people sleeping and missing a card is pretty low now.
It does feel that way. I always have to remember that if it's late for me, then like the West Coast is at a very comfortable time. So I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's not that late. And just because Europe's asleep doesn't mean the rest of the country is.
Right. Hey, Surface, we'll have to talk tonight because if you really don't want 2 Courtois, I might be able to take one off your hands.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, trying to win in one of the last 2. Okay, so like the reason I'm trying to sell this Gakpo, Sangare, and Boscagli is because I have 2 of each. And so it was during one of the power hours where they were just auctioning off the same guy so many times, 20 times in an hour, it felt like. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try to get one. I wanted all 3 guys. And so I would place like first bids. I'd pull a high B and would boot to go like first bids on a bunch of them. And like one of my favorite pages that they finally put in was that you can like follow your auction bids, like all of your open auction bids. And so I would just have them all and I could just track them all. And I ended up bidding on some later ones. And I was like, all right, I'll just deal with those later. And then went back to the page. And for some reason, the page defaults to closed auction or whatever it is. So like it doesn't default to the ones that are ending soon.
Yeah.
And so I changed it to the ones ending soon. And I was like, oh, these are coming up. So I bid on the next 3 and I won them. And I'm like, sweet. And then I like look further down and I'm like, crap. I'm the lead bid on the next 3 also. And I won them all. So I have literally like 33 and 34 of 1,000 of these guys.
Nice.
So
I mean, it's a good card to have.
Yeah. As of now, I'm playing them in Challenger Europe and U23. So it's not like, but like I didn't want them. Buy
one more and you can play them in Global All-Star too. I mean, with a last 5 of 71, I think that it's a, pretty nice card to own.
Which one?
The Cody Gakpo?
Yes. Well, I have 2 of them. I'm hoping to.
Yeah. But get
so
the
then I
third
started
one.
Playing that game. I'm like, I'll post one at 0.4 and one at point, whatever I want to sell it at.
And then you buy Surface's Courtois and you're, ready to go in Global All-Star.
Yeah. I kept trying to trade them for Noah Lang.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Didn't work.
I'm trying to look at the prices of those. Yeah, I don't know what a Lang goes for, but these look like the Gakpos are a little.
I just set the high of the market today, so
yeah.
I can't decide if it would benefit me more for him to be terrible or awesome.
You definitely want him to be awesome.
No, you definitely want him to be awesome.
No. Why own a card and not want him to be awesome?
Because it makes me more competitive elsewhere when he's not that good. Although, to be honest, I think I'll have to check this new Sorare data thing. Well, actually, I don't even have the card to look. But I'm assuming that many more people play him in U23 D3 than anything else.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair assumption. But there's probably a lot of people that do have like Bruce stacks that are playing him in Challenger. But I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Unless I own multiple ones?
I don't.
Yeah.
Just a yellow one. But I'm glad that Surface did the same thing as me.
Yeah.
Happy to trade a PSV stack for him.
I think I did bid on a couple of the Benzemos that are tonight. Maybe I just bid on one of them. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because I would really like to win one. But here's the messed up part. No matter what, I got to wake up. Like if I win it, then I got to wake up, win the card, and then I got to put them in my lineup. Yeah. So I can't just bid on it. I can't just like put the bid and then like not wake up. I got to wake up at some point.
Yeah, no, that's
because is the game week lock for you at 5 or 6 a.m.?
6.
Is it 6? So
although somebody pointed out to me that the deadline is 1 minute early this week because there's some J League or K League game that kicks off at there's a J League game that kicks off at 6 a.m. Eastern, which is when the deadline is, and they wanted that to be in the weekend deadline, so the deadline is 5:59 Eastern this week. So
interesting.
Don't think you
so
have
they're moving
extra
deadlines around on us now, huh? Getting my pitchfork, going into general Discord, gonna lay down the law. Let Dan know I'm unhappy.
Well, the benefit is at least 2 Asia lineups will be known, or 4 lineups, 2 games will be known before lock, which I don't know if they like that or not, but it's happening.
Yeah, I don't think that they do, but honestly, I'm okay with it. Like, I don't compete in Asia, and if I did, and other people had an edge on me because they woke up or whatever, I would just have the edge. It doesn't happen every week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. But you're somebody who I think is willing to give edges for effort. That if you're willing to put the effort in, you deserve to know the line.
Yeah. And it's just like playing the market, if you put the effort in and, you're watching every Cody Gakpo auction and you happen to get the one that was 0.01 lower than all the other ones, well, you're the one that put in the work. You deserve the cheaper card.
Yeah.
We have a negotiation that's beginning in chat. Surface would like to offer you Courtois for 0.05 and Gapco.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you called dibs on this card already.
Well, I don't need this card right now, so by all means.
You could use it, though, this week, like tonight. You don't need Benzema. Actually, you don't really need him anyway. You already have your La Liga entry.
I don't know what limited forwards I even have. Like, if I had a good challenger one that had a good matchup, it would certainly be better than playing Fekir.
No. Fekir's going to crush, man.
I don't know. I mean, I could play Johnny Russell. He's at home against the Fire.
Ooh.
Yeah. Burn him down.
Without Calvo, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Sean will be so sad when Russell puts up 3.
That's goals right now, points.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah, he's the only other limited that would really make sense that I have. I don't know.
So what's funny about this offer here is that it's another one of those situations where I wanted to sell, or I wanted to trade Gakpo for Lang, like not straight up. I knew that.
Yeah.
So I basically looked at everybody who had a Noah Lang limited card, and I offered some sort of like Gakpo and whoever else I thought would help. Nobody bid. And then finally today, I was like, somebody gave me an offer for Gakpo, like an ETH offer, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll just sell Gakpo and buy Noah Lang, sell these cards and buy Lang, and just do that. So of course I do what everybody does, and you buy the card first before you sell it.
Yeah.
So now I'm sitting with less ETH, and I still have 2 Gakpo cards.
But you're
But
like, I
now I'm
can
like,
still
oh,
use both Gapkos.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think he's hurt this weekend, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
But so now this is the kicker. It's like, I do want that Courtois card, and I'm going to trade Gakpo, and yet it's still going to cost me more money. Like, I wasn't going to buy Courtois. I probably should, but I wasn't going to. But now I'm like, oh, that's a good deal, though. I should do that, because what do I need 2 Gakpos for?
Yeah.
It's very tempting, Surface. I'll be in touch.
Oh, man. So are there any sneaky La Liga team stacks, anything that you're looking for, or you're just looking at chalk? You want Barca, Real Madrid, and some Atletico guys.
And Fekir. No, Fekir is the guy.
I can't believe we both bought Real Betis guys. Of like all the cool stuff that came through today, we both bought a Real Betis guy.
Well, I mean, I was buying a card specifically for this special weekly. So I'm not buying Barcelona cards because they're not playing in this game week. And yeah, I would love some Real Madrid cards, but they were like if I wasn't going to play Champion Europe, I'm not going to buy these cards. And so I was like, all right, let me just get a cheaper one. And I thought, I don't know. I just assumed that like Benzema would be cheaper. I thought like the fact that Benzema is going for more than Courtois seems weird to me. Or maybe they're around the same.
Yeah.
But the guy crushes. But no, I think generally like we know that La Liga is a lower scoring league and they just lost their highest scoring player ever.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want any of it. I saw some people getting very excited about Pedri and Ricky Puig, and I get it. Frankie de Jong, I get it. But like,
you know, a player that I always loved, despite his want to bite people, is Luis Suarez, and that's a limited I think I might like to pick up.
I thought about it. Like if he was like 100% playing this weekend, I would have absolutely tried to do it. He was one of the first, I forget who the guest was. It was on a High B podcast, but somebody was saying that they had a big problem with ageism on Sorare and that like older players were undervalued because people were like, oh, that guy's old. And he was like, I've won 3 podiums because of Luis Suarez. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that there's like definitely like the sex appeal or whatever towards like the younger, and that's probably a terrible way of describing it, but there's definitely a level of sexiness for like the U23 players or whatever. But I mean, really those like 28 to 33 year olds can, still score well. And yeah, they might not have 10 years of utility or whatever, but hey, they can win you prizes for, 1, 2, 3 years.
Yep.
And Sam just put in chat that like he mentioned the Villarreal stack, and that's actually been one I've been watching surface because I do think that like Parejo, which I think he's still hurt, but I do think you could do a fun little stack with Villarreal.
I'm trying to think of who the other one was because there are 2 players who I was going to go after today who don't have cards.
Really?
Yeah. Sandro Ramirez from Getafe was one of them. I can't remember who the other one was. I thought it was Moreno, but he definitely has cards. And I was kind of like, man, I thought I was going to get a cheap one here. And
was it a Villarreal player?
Because
I don't think Pau Torres has any cards. Yeah, if you look up Pau Torres, because
no, I can't remember who it was, but I was absolutely. Oh, that's weird about Militao. He has older cards though. He's already on the platform. Yeah. Oh, that was what I was going to bring up before. Is that the new deal now means we can buy individual Real Madrid cards?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
It is cool, but they will be back in starter packs. Available in starter packs. Soon.
Right. So I also thought it was kind of funny that I was in like multiple discussions today about how there really aren't that many like great SO5 players in La Liga. But then everybody's like, but it's going to be great because the reward pool will be so much bigger. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going to win all these guys you don't want. Like all of these ones that you're like, I'm not going to buy any of those guys. And now you can win them. It's like, oh, great.
I don't know. I think that there's like plenty of guys that I would absolutely love to win in Champion Europe, and guys that I might not buy, but I would be super happy to win.
Yeah, that makes sense. The weird thing about Eder is that he has a new picture too.
Does he?
The picture shows on his page and yet no cards. I don't know.
We have seen some of that though too, where like they just don't release the card like on the release, like on the absolute release day or whatever, and they come out later. Might just be a case of that. Pau Torres does not even have a picture in Sorare, but he had some weird thing like where he kind of left the team. And that's why Aisa Mandy was playing. So I don't know, because I think Mandy is going to be more of a rotational center back, and but Pau Torres hasn't been with the team for whatever reason. Maybe he wasn't there on picture day.
It's so funny how that's like actually a reason. Like it makes sense.
I would love for them to like start doing like selfies. Like, did you see the PK video today? Like, it'd be fun to like just have a player like, all right, take a selfie and then upload it, and that's your card now.
I think they absolutely should do that.
Yeah, you got to put your jersey on though.
Right, that's fine.
I'm sure they have no shirtless Van de Voorts.
Ronaldo, he's the one who would do it.
Yeah,
I know he's not on the platform yet.
You think we see Real Madrid or Man U?
No.
All right, speculation time. What's the EPL team? If we only get one, what's the EPL team this year?
Leicester City.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, do you think that Sorare is now big enough that they can't do that? That it has to be one of theoretically the big six?
You think that they're too big to do a smaller club?
Yeah. Like they have all of La Liga, and they had Liverpool, and they have Bayern Munich and PSG and Brighton and Hove Albion.
And like, Newcastle.
Yeah. I don't think they can do it. I think the only way they get those clubs is if they get them all. So if you're like a big Burnley guy, I think you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Man City would be a good one. Chelsea would be a good one. Man U,
that's it.
That's
Arsenal or Tottenham just for the jokes. But like, yeah.
Well, the big problem, I guess maybe it's not a problem. The cool thing is if they did add Arsenal, when they get relegated at the end of this year, you'll have some really good players for
really good for Challenger.
Yeah, you'll have midweeks all the time. So I'm just saying like that might be a strategy if they add Arsenal, overpay for those players, knowing they're going to get relegated, and next year they'll kick butt.
You'll just kill. They'll kill the midweeks. When Arsenal's playing Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hopefully they crush at that point.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All your guys get sold. They're playing on other teams now.
Right. Would you rather a Premier League club or Dortmund?
Oh boy. I mean, preference would be Chelsea, but if it's not, if it's like Man City, Man United, or Dortmund, I want Dortmund. Selfishly, I know that probably Man United's the best thing for the platform and the best thing for the whole ecosystem, but selfishly, I would want Dortmund just to own a yellow Haaland card.
Just all yellow. It's just his face off of a yellow background, and
yep, it's like he's standing in front of like a yellow screen or green screen or whatever, and it's just like his head pops out.
Right. But I agree. I think Dortmund would be fun.
There are issues with his card though, because he's from like Norway or something.
Yeah.
And they probably are they not going to qualify for World Cup or?
So I saw somebody tweet about this yesterday. Somebody who does a lot of physical card collecting, and he was saying that the biggest thing against Haaland is that they're not a big World Cup team.
Yeah.
But he's like playing balls out lately, and they're winning, and they actually might go to the World Cup. They obviously are not going to win the World Cup, but like if he goes to the World Cup, then his physical cards get really, the value skyrockets. But
it's funny how that works.
Nobody cares about that for Sorare.
Yeah. Well, we do care about that for Sorare because I think World Cup could be like the, I don't know, like the coolest thing on the platform if they iron out all their issues with international play. World Cup time could be absolutely off the hook.
On Thanksgiving, that's when the next one starts.
Oh yeah, Qatar is doing it in the wintertime.
Right. Yeah, I think Man United is the excuse me, to borrow a phrase from Sean Newsham, I think they're the holy grail club. Like, I don't think there's another one that brings in more people than Man United.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that.
I mean, I guess we have a few of them already. They're not necessarily being minted still. Well, I guess Pogba can keep getting minted if they keep that France deal.
Yeah.
Martial, Varane. I guess we have them already.
Well, there's only like 9 Bruno Fernandes cards. I think we need more of those.
That is wild.
We need to mint those into the ground, and those the guys that own the 9 Bruno cards have all got to be like shaking right now. Like, please do not announce Man U. Please do not announce Man U.
Well, it's funny you say that because it not only does it, the specific scarcity of their cards goes away, but I think most people want the United card. Like, it's not like they're like, oh, they're such huge Bruno fans, like, but I really want the sporting cards. Like, no, they don't. They actually want the United one, the new one.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you could also say that like the Bruno card's older, so it's kind of like the rookie card or whatever too. So yeah, it would be cool to have the United shirt on him, but there's also a cool factor to have him on his rookie card or whatever for the platform.
I think that's more of a Sorare collectible than a Bruno collectible. Like, we kind of talked about that previously about like,
I think it
first
will eventually
mints of something. Like, somebody pointed out today that the Alvaro Negredo limited card was the first La Liga deal card minted by Sorare.
Yeah.
It was like, okay. I'm not going to pay extra for that, but I get it. And it was probably 19 of 1,000, not even one.
Right. I do think that there's only like 9 or 10 Bruno cards. So if
that's cool.
Yeah. I do think that I think that those lose value like right off the top, no matter what, they lose value. And certainly there's like a cool component of having that rookie season card or whatever. But, the best thing about owning a Bruno right now is you get that like unique differential of owning Bruno. And when he scores 100, the only way to cancel that out is to have another guy that scores 100. And I don't know. If they minted another 100 of them, then I think AJ paid 100 ETH for the Bruno unique.
99.
Yeah, 99 to Sorare.
What do you think the fiat value of that was?
I have no idea. But if another one sold, it would be nowhere even close to that in ETH wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't price the uniques at all, but I'm sure it's 25, 30 ETH card or whatever. It's still an expensive card. It's not a 100 ETH card.
Right. The 99 ETH was worth $62,000 then. And somebody is selling a rare for 17.99 ETH, which is also 62,000, or that's almost 63,000.
Yeah, Sam with another.
I don't think that's going to sell.
Sam with a really, really good point. He probably already did lose some value by losing PKs, and we know how Man United loves to win PKs. I say that tongue in cheek, but I guess it's pretty much a done deal. CR7's taking those PKs. Bruno doesn't get them anymore.
So.
He might get one every once in a while or something if he subs off or something. Or if Ronaldo's feeling charitable that day.
Yeah, right. So there are 8 people who own Bruno cards.
Yeah.
And there are 11 total.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Neat. I'll buy the limited when they come on.
What's sad is I remember when his cards like first came out on the platform, and like if you look at the sales history on those, like some of it's pretty sad to look back and be like, hey, I could have bought it for $500. Granted, completely different time and like totally different. Everything was different back then. It was like, oh, I'm spending $500 on what?
Yeah.
Like it was absurd. And I don't know. And now it's like you see people, I see 7 months ago, Max M paid 7.8 ETH for a rare, which would have been around the boom. It was February-ish.
Right. It seems like most of them were rewards anyway.
Yeah, DC bought one. I think Cal bought his off somebody.
Now Cal won his.
Oh, Cal won his. Oh, look at that. He loaned it to Surface for a week. What's up, Surface?
That'd be cool. This has nothing to do with La Liga. He never even played in La Liga. So do you think the last topic do you think the next big announcement is a Premier League club or Messi?
I think it's going to be PSG cards. I think that those are probably very, very soon, right around. I think that like the La Liga announcement kind of like hypes people up. It gets people on board, gets the eyes, and then they'll drop Messi.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be like they announce PSG like at the beginning of the week or something. And then that unique's not till that Sunday to give everybody plenty of time to. They've been pretty good about that with the really premium uniques. Is they give everybody a week to load up.
Yeah, you can't possibly do that Messi one like early. There's no reason to do it. And no, I don't. That's from Sorare Australia here. Do they keep Liverpool for another season to sell their limiteds? I don't think they can. I think they're the last season cards, and the limiteds are only 2021. I could be wrong about that.
No, what he's asking is, do you think that they have Liverpool for 2021 so that they can do limiteds of those cards?
Gotcha.
I don't think it matters to them. I mean, whether it's Man City or Liverpool, they're going to make a ton of money, and I think that they would rather have variety.
Yeah.
And if they can get Man City or Man United or Chelsea, they'll get the other club. They would rather have more clubs, I think.
Yeah.
That said, if they announced it was another year Liverpool and they were going to have limiteds, fine. I mean, I think it's a wasted opportunity, though.
I agree. Yeah. All right. We've gone long enough, I think. Man, there's a lot of talk for 2 people who own 3 La Liga cards.
With that said, we did kind of like preface that with the ones that we really want are Barcelona, and they don't play this week. So what's the hurry? There's no hurry. There's no rush.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm in a rush with Sorare. There's no reason to feel this way. It's that whole patience thing that I just don't have when it comes to Sorare.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right. If you guys have enjoyed this video, if you're watching on YouTube, if you could please hit the like button below. If you are listening to the audio version, if you could please rate and review it wherever you listen. Once again, this is the SorareAndrews podcast brought to you by RotoWire and sponsored by Sorare. We'll be back next week. We have a kind of a fun little game that I think we're setting up, or some sort of challenge that we think will be pretty interesting. So definitely come back for that. Andy, thanks for that discussion tonight, and I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. See you.